Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Hello and welcome to the Week 3 Strength of Field race in the Radical Racing Challenge, live on Apex Racing TV. I am Sam Fitzpatrick. I have Austin Knight once again alongside me this evening, and Luis O'Rourke coming off his fantastic race win earlier on in the Apex Racing League Prototypes is your broadcaster for this race here at Virginia International Raceway. Austin, this is a circuit that I imagine a few of these drivers have had to buy. It is such an old circuit, it is not used much, but there's a lot of enjoyment to be seeked from this place.
It certainly is. If you're a American club racer or you've done a little bit of American racing, junior racing, you probably came here for your test. I remember I had to come here for my test. Virginia International Raceway, otherwise referred to as the Nürburgring of America, is one of the most famous and most used club racing circuits in all of America. It certainly has a very good club culture here. It's a massive track with a lot of turns through the hills of Southern Virginia. It's right on the border, actually, of Virginia as well, from the Oak Tree Bend, just a little bit of a creek over, and you see the other states of North Carolina to the south. But yeah, Virginia International Raceway, such a entirely fun circuit to drive and enjoy. It's going to be a lot of challenge, especially for most of these drivers who have not bought the circuit, who have not raced here before as well. And these radicals are certainly a lot of fun around here. High downforce, a lot of speed, tricky corners. It's a great recipe for a lot of fun here for these 15 drivers we got for us.
Yeah, it's a slightly smaller field this week. We do have 2 splits. However, it sort of splits at an awkward point. I think there are 29 drivers signed up, so it would be
30.
Nice to have, 30 drivers, apologies. It would be quite nice to have them all in one split, but instead we will have these top drivers, top half of the field, getting into this top split of the evening. Great to see a couple of drivers we don't usually see. Mark Fletcher is out there, who we've seen on many broadcasts. I think Apex Racing League American GTE champion about 3 years ago, so that is his credentials, and also team boss at Altitude Esports. Great to see him out there, but we've got a couple of the regulars. No Halliburton around tonight, no Barber, and no Lopez either. So the Trinity, the absolute dominant drivers in this series over the past few years, not feeling like it this week. and hopefully we'll see them back next week. But it does give an opportunity for someone to take a race victory. I'm not sure if anyone in this build has ever won Radical Strength of Field race.
Yeah, this is looking like a fresh field. I'm surprised Nathan Moore has not run has won a SOF race, but you know, Halliburton and the rest of the usual suspects are not here for this week. This could be the opportunity for Nathan Moore. So we're looking at qualifying right now. At a few of our drivers coming down that long back straightaway, and then heading through the final sector of the roller coaster, and then the final 2 corners. My favorite 2 corners on the racetrack, well, favorably named corners, are here at VIR. Final sector of this track. Final 2 right-handers are called Pigpen.
There's a pig pen nearby.
No, if it rains, it just turns into a muddy mess, actually. The outside of the track.
I don't know why that's called a... Okay, so I guess pig pens are usually quite muddy. Okay. So
yes.
That is a good name.
And then in the full course, when we use the infield of the track, there is a corner heading into, coming off of the back straightaway. You have to do a hard right, and that corner is called, I need to censor myself right here because it is a naughty word.
I think I know this one, and I couldn't remember the name of it, and I was thinking of like pain initially, but I think it's a synonymous word to that. As you say, a lot more rude.
It's on the iRacing track map, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, everyone Google it, and you can see for yourself the...
or watch Southpaw Racers Max Bance race around here, because on the track map, he just clears up, says it, and that corner is right there.
It's a really tricky one as well. That Grand West circuit, I think it is, on that direction. They're just all blind bends. It's absolutely insane. Load it up on iRacing. Don't do a race around there because it is insane. It's so tricky. It will take you hours to get anywhere near the maximum of the car. It is quite a unique experience. Really nothing like it on iRacing. As we've seen, the second times being put in, and this is going to be very influential for the grid. More improves. He's now half a second clear, albeit Fletcher's still got to put in a lap. Julius Muller, the only C-class driver out there, I believe, tonight. He is up there in P2 now, but still Fletcher to cross the line. We have got Dixon as well. We've also got this man, Daniel Rashaw, and Violent Percy as well. This is his second lap time, invalidated first lap time. Can at least get a time on the board. I didn't think he did, so that's a bit concerning for him. Fletcher improves. It's not enough to beat Moore, but it is enough for the front row of the grid.
It is enough for the front row of the grid for Fletcher, as
Caponi a long way up the track. Oh, he's well, I thought he was going to hit the tree there, but no, it was actually just a gantry and probably a marshal or a cameraman coming very close to meeting their maker. And that is the end of Caponi's qualifying session, and that is it. No one else is out on circuit who has still got an eligible lap time to complete.
Yeah, everybody else, nobody else has got a time enough to get onto the board right there. So we're just all just waiting for the timer to run down. Now we do have drivers still driving around, Percy, Reshaw, Dixon, and Vico, just getting some extra laps in there, but everything right now is just going on and chilling until the timer runs. And we got a minute left here in qualifying, but I believe our grid is set. Vieira did do one lap, as well as Caponi. They just did one lap and then stopped. Dibin and Bootland are not going to be doing qualifying, so they will be starting from the back here at Virginia International Raceway, and Sandy starts as always in these radicals.
Yes, at least that gives an opportunity to gain some places, albeit it's such a narrow circuit that there isn't really an opportunity to get past unless you're going to go onto the grass, obviously. There's not much of an opportunity to do that, so if you're on the front row of the grid, that's a big advantage. Fletcher definitely has enough time to catch and pass more off the line heading into turn 1, but everyone else, it will be very tricky to make much progress as we are into the final couple of seconds And the qualifying session is over for this week 3 of the Radical Racing Challenge. And we will load up your grid for this evening. It is Nathan Moore in pole position, less than a 10th clear of Mark Fletcher. Julius Muller lines up in 3rd place in it. Cedric Krolich, Alexis Vico, Lorenzo Caponi, who messed up his 2nd lap, so I think Caponi may have had potential to get ahead of Vico there. Leah in 7th place, probably the most experienced driver out of anyone when it comes to this series out there. Then it's Adam Kozinski and Vince Horston. Frankie Dixon rounds out the top 10. There it is, Daniel Vishaw, Tony Dibden in 12th, Bruno Vieira, Andy Bootland, and Baylant Bergessi rounding out the 15 cars. And just a couple more of them I've got to get onto the grid, and then we'll be onto the green flag.
Yeah, we're just waiting for Moore, Muller, and Caponi right now as Moore, well, it is a 1-2 for cars number 1 and 2 as they're getting lined up right there. There's Mark Fletcher up in 2nd place, and there's Moore right there up at the front. And it's time we get ready to rock and roll within 45 seconds. I see one of the cars in the background just giving us a little bit of flashing lights, saying, let's get ready to rock and roll and rumble, and here we go. All the cars are lined up. It's time to get these SR10s ready to rock and roll here in the hills of Virginia as it's 5 red lights and green, green, green. Here we go. A little bit of smoke start for Fletcher off the line, and he's getting swallowed up by Muller and Vico right there. Vico onto the outside, making it 3 wide right now. We're looking back for Moore as Muller is right behind him as it is side by side heading into the horseshoe at turn 1. Moore leading out Muller and Fletcher and Vico, your top 4. Kozlowski, Cedric is falling down into 5th place. Not a good start for him, but Muller and Vico with the better starts. Fletcher able to get a good line through turn 1 right there as they head through the NASCAR bend and up through the S's right now in these wonderful Radicals cars. We got one car off the track in the background, just a little bit too wide in that inside section. I think that was Adam Kosinski in 11th place, number 7. Let's ride on board of Muller through one of the fastest corners and one of the most tricky corners, especially in cars without downforce. Just go a little bit too far and just straight into the grass right there, into the oak tree bend. Muller chasing down Moore, being followed by Fletcher Vico, and there's Cedric getting a move down to the inside of Alexis Vico. Cedric caught Vico going out into the gravel off the exit of Oak Tree Bend and gets back 4th place.
Going to be close between, well, it's going to be close for Fletcher. He's got to make this move straight away if he's going to be able to keep up with the race leader. But it's tricky to make the move there because the outside turns into the inside, and Fletcher's losing crucial time right now to the leader. It was going to be tricky in the first place, but not only is going to have to he's also got to make up some time. Vieira dropping to the back of the field. He started in P13. I think he gained a couple of places at the Brazilian driver, but I think he has gone off at the end of the back straight, a very common issue. As here comes Fletcher again. He was super quick. Caponi getting past Leah. That's just returning that position then, so he's back up into 6th place. Fletcher was not able to get back past.
Oh, that's a dive by Caponi! Big lock up!
And they're all off the circuit. They're all making contact. You can take advantage of this. I thought it might be Dixon who was going to be able to gain a lot of time from all of that, but he was held up. And after all of that, Caponi, probably the most innocent bystander, does gain a position, but with some contact.
Yeah, Caponi dodged a bullet right there. He was side by side. Caponi had it around the outside. Car on the inside locked up and then hit him. And then Caponi had Dip and Dixon, and I think Kaczynski was also in there as well. It was about like 4 cars all going from the same spot. And only one car did go off right there and missed all of that. And I believe...
well, that's all.
You know, oh, and that's Dixon off at that corner that I said was one of the hardest corners to get it right because it's so fast after a long S section. And then if you go off the track, you get caught in the grass and you drop down that hill, and there's no way to regain control of that car coming back on the track. And most of the cases, I've seen cars spin out right there and end up into the wall on the other side of the track. And luckily, we have not had that issue happen just yet, but we've seen it happen in many times before. As let's ride on board of Mark Fletcher, closing in to Julius Mueller as they go through Pigpen, the final 2 corners, and onto the front straightaway here at Virginia International Raceway. Here goes Fletcher looking onto the outside. They're side by side. Mueller onto the inside. Fletcher onto the outside. Heading into the horseshoe, going deep onto the braces. Fletcher leaving the space onto the inside, but he can hold the speed around the outside. That'd be great. The inside has a little bit of a bump on the apex, so the outside line is kind of the line that you want to be. And Mark Fletcher around the outside regained second place, but he needs to close down 2 seconds to close in on Nathan Moore. He just put in the fastest lap of the race last time by.
Yeah, that was a couple too many laps for Fletcher, but this is Virginia, and it's inevitable that Moore will have issues. It's inevitable that he will make a few small mistakes, and Fletcher can drive a perfect race. He could still make up that gap. It does seem like overtaking is possible around this circuit, so watch out for the Altitude Esports driver to start closing that gap. Maybe Moore will be able to extend it in qualifying. Of course, the race leader did have the pace advantage. Here is Pajessi, who started on the back but didn't set a qualifying time. I think he's gained a few positions, and now he's losing those positions again. You can see he's not very comfortable, perhaps, as some of the other drivers are. And he's going to have Scott Lear, who went off the circuit earlier on, lost 8 seconds on that last lap, impacted Lear, and he is chasing him down very quickly. Then VIR and Bootland running out this strong 15-car field, no one requiring any pit stops so far.
Yeah, thankfully it's a very clean start. We did have a few drivers go off the track, but they've Virginia is the, I would say, king of having a runoff area that does not crash you. Take that tarmac runoff. We just need fields of grass here in Virginia. Punishes you and keeps you safe from walls right there. As this is Horston going in for another move down to the inside of Renshaw into turn 1. Absolutely nailed it right there. Have Renshaw getting a good run off the exit. Rens just got a little bit wide as in the background Piercy. Jesse has had an issue, and Lear's got in 12th place.
Ooh,
and
Dibson's
Dibson.
Oh, we'll get a replay of that in a bit, but first we'll see the replay of Jesse. Was this locking up the... No, so I thought
too
it
much
may
mustard
be
off the exit.
brakes, but yeah, actually it was quite late on, as you say, Austin, on the power. And
He's
very
hit that
tricky to
bump.
do so much power in these SR10 machines. And here was the mistake from Dibden then, and this has dropped him a few places. So he's... no, it's not that curve there. I thought he might be unsettled on that occasion. It's
too much
early
brakes.
on, and yeah, turning into the corner, losing the car, hitting the wall. Now, I think the rear damage isn't too bad in this car. We've seen drivers almost have lost their rear wing and continued without a meatball. I don't think that will be too bad for Tipton. He should still be able to reclaim a couple of those places.
Now, there was a damage model update for a few cars today, and I believe the Radicals were in that. So that actually might have helped him, because it doesn't seem that too big for Dibden, actually. So I think he's pretty good, but he is at the back as a few of our drivers. I think Pony had a little bit of an issue and has slowed down, but we're looking at this fight for 7th place between Kaczynski and Frankie Dixon right now. Just having a race heading into turn 1 with each other. But the field is, looking at the field right now, Fletcher in 2nd place is put in the fastest lap of the race as he's trying to catch up to Nathan Moore. He was 2/10 faster than Moore last time by, but this lap it does look like Moore has the gap on Fletcher at the start of this lap. As we can see the lap graph, it's risen and now it's starting to fall. Fletcher not getting the start that he wanted off the line, dropped down 2 spots, regained one of them heading into turn 3, and then a few laps later regained 2nd place by catching up to Mueller. Sandy starts in these cars. Now, it's a new car, and not everyone's cleared up the standing starts, but Mueller really looked like he had that start locked up. But it's one thing to get a good launch on a car. It's another thing to keep that launch and that position. And Nathan Moore had a good launch, but I think Muller had the best launch out of everybody else.
Yeah, I think that's a good shout. Fletcher really did not get away at all. Well, did he? Lear is up ahead of Rashaw now. That was coming. He's been hounding the car number 12 for a while. As yeah, Fletcher testing the lights there. Very different shaped lights, of course, in this new SR10 compared to the old car. I don't believe they're very good at night, but I believe there's like an endurance package in real life. So
yes,
there
there is.
iRacing maybe enable that so that you can actually see where you're going. I'm not sure if we're going to have... Oh, Horston's us off the circuit. What has happened to Horston?
I would say turn one. That has to be turn one, and it is turn one, and I'm just guessing this might have to deal with the apex at turn one, maybe just carrying a little bit too much speed. Oh yeah, he carried a world of speed right there. Just got caught into the grass and rejoined back there. Didn't spend a lot of time off the grass, but he did lose 2 spots for Horston. And, you know, the top 6 in the field, they went up, but they're back to where they started. And everybody else, 7th place, Kaczynski's up at 1 spot. Balanta Pressure in our number 15 driver, the lowest iRacing driver, only driver in the 1.8Ks, is actually up 3 spots in 12th place, our biggest mover right now.
Yeah, he's being... Well, because he made that mistake, but he is getting faster actually out there. He's now into the 42s. He's just set his fastest lap of the race. That is much more like it for him. Fletcher lost 4 100s on the last lap. I think Horston's about to get past for sure, by the way. They're just going down the back straight. Horston not able to make the move quite on this occasion. Fletcher on this lap losing another 3/10, so he's not doing enough right now. Oh, Dixon's off the circuit, and Dibden as well. Dibden for the 2nd time. Dixon has lost some time, and he's actually going to lose a position to Lear in all that. So Lear back up to 8th place. He was outside the top 10, remember, at one point.
And
this is what happened to him through the Big Pen, yep. And
heading
that's
down
a
the roll
very that's a classic Pigpen mistake, isn't it?
Yeah, just coming out of roller coasters, that drop down to the left, right situation, and you just dip the wheel right there, and then you were just stuck in a Pigpen. It's just absolute chaos, and be glad iRacing does not have rain, because if it does, oh, your car will be covered in mud on the outside. I've seen when the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge came here last season, there was a few sports cars that went out there, and it just rained, and those grills were just covered with grass that, you know, it looked like somebody went out there and just made turf monkeys out there, just unable to get them off.
Do you think if they fixed... Oh, that's a big slide, isn't it? Maybe that's how you take the corner. You seem to gain some time. But I know, I guess they've got to make sure that it doesn't get... they can't have a very good drainage system, otherwise they wouldn't be able to call it that corner name. So,
well, the drainage system on the track is great, because the track is actually raised up from the dirt around it that just flows off the circuit. The thing is, though, the entire circuit, everywhere other than the track, has water collecting onto it. Like, there is, when the rain does come around here, there is a drainage drain on the inside, so it doesn't flow across the circuit. The other thing is, it's a giant field. Water collects over there, and the grass here in Virginia can get very luscious at times. And the thing that what happened with the Michelin Pilot Challenge race is it was just freshly mowed, but they don't catch the grass. They just let it out there to be mulch, and that's what the cars were kicking up. They're kicking up mulches of turf and grass, and it's a large field, and so unfortunate for Lexus and their GT3 car. Also, iRacing, come on, Lexus, get them in here. Bias.
Yeah, so that'd be quite cool, wouldn't it? That'd be a nice extra car. Let us know who you are supporting on the YouTube channel. See a few people watching along, and yeah, let's just know what's fan club you're in. Are you a supporter of Frankie Dixon? Are you a supporter of Scott Lear? Two of them still close. Leah pushing it again through that corner. Pushed it a bit too far that time. VIR and Jesse have had a
one
problem,
card.
but will stick with this one, I think, for a while, because Dixon is going to be past Leah here, and Leah just had an awful exit, and there's pretty much no response for him, because even if he was alongside at this point, it's actually the outside line you want for the left-hander, because it's by far the better line for the right-hander,
Oh,
which
but he just
follows
gets
it
the
straight
dive.
after. He tries to get alongside. There's maybe contact between the two of them, but Dixon makes that move, sticks the car number 10 up to P8. But I'm not sure if he's necessarily faster. I think it's just if Leah can keep it error-free.
Yeah, Dixon and Lear need to keep this error-free if to be with each other right there. But that was a very, very gutsy pass attempt by Lear to try to shove it up onto the inside. You saw that twitch by both of them. Just gotta leave the space, and Lear tries it again, but Dixon gets the door closed on him. Man, this is a very elbows-out fight between these two. Neither of them giving up anything else. And Lear with the higher I rating, definitely he's raced around Dixon before. They're just separated by 400 I rating, so they probably know each other. And, you know, they probably enjoy racing around each other as well. But Dixon, through that first sector, is just very, very good.
Yeah, so products that he'll be grateful for. Krolic
Uh-oh.
is
Cedric's
off
had
the
an issue in
track.
fourth
I think
place.
he's probably gone too far at the south bend, which is, or maybe Oak Tree actually is maybe a better shout.
That
So
same
this
corner.
is South Bend here at the end of the S's, and then
Oak
yeah, it is
Tree.
going to be Oak Tree. So is it the first part or the second part? Carrying too much speed here,
First.
and then the big question is, does he hit the tires? He does do, but
He
barely
grazes
anything.
them.
He will be fine. The MXS racing driver will be fine. He is actually, well, spoiler alert, he actually wins this battle against Tapia, sorry, which I'm not sure how that's possible, if I'm honest, but
I'm
despite the fact
guessing
that
he
they
just
had-
outguts him on the brakes. He's got
Yeah.
a good side draft going on right here, and he does gain the speed on the straightaway. And yeah, outguts him on the brakes. And Cedric, well, he lost time, but he didn't lose a spot, but he's definitely gained a battle.
and they're alongside one another again, but Krolic has stayed ahead, I can say. Dixon's still ahead of Leah. There are the fourth and fifth place battle, and Rashor is still ahead of Vieira, who was catching prior, but now he's getting a bit stuck. Here he comes, like, hasn't put up much of a defense here, has Rashor, and this should be easy enough. It is.
Yeah, Brazilian
up
up onto
to
the
another.
inside. And up ahead, Dixon is off the track.
Well, it was
And
Leah who was
Dixon is
making the mistake
out.
before, now it's Dixon.
Yeah, Dixon is towed out of this race, and this is what happened to Frankie Dixon. This is in the S's. And
This is earlier on.
oh, this is that NASCAR bend, and straight into the wall. Caught the grass on the entry, straight into the wall, and Dixon, that's a tow into the pit lane, and that is Dixon going to be finishing this race out of there. And that is minus 87 I rating for Frankie Dixon.
That hurts.
Yeah, that's gonna be pretty painful right there. Vico putting the pressure on Cedric ahead. 3v4 right now. As Alexis just, you know, they've got the draft. They have the opportunity to pass Cedric, and Cedric made that mistake. So they know that he's probably being a little bit cautious in a few of these corners because it is easily to make a mistake. They're defending down to the inside. Here comes Alexis around to the outside, side by side. They go on the entry, and Alexis trying to go for that switchback right there. Not really putting a lot of pressure around to the outside, but they're still putting up a very good fight with each other.
This is the closest battle at the moment out on circuit, as we demonstrate the gap over time using one of my favorite graphics there on the right side of the screen. And that, of course, is made possible by SDK Gaming, one of the sponsors for this broadcast. Bring up live timing graphics like this, or like really any other real-life series. We've got the 3.5 default interface. We've also got the NASCAR ticker and timing tower
Vico!
interface, as Vico is losing a little bit of time right now in a bumpy ride over the grass. Yeah, big thanks to SDK Gaming for supporting us on Apex Racing TV and making our broadcast a lot better than they otherwise would be. Do check out sdkgaming.co.uk in order to get yourself a subscription. There was just an offer for another driver. I'm not sure. I wonder if maybe it will be caught by our Capone.
Well,
Has he lost
Capone,
a position
they
to
made no.
Kaczynski?
Well, yeah, they just made the position, but this is heading through Oak Tree. We're going to be seeing Capone put on an absolute smoke show, drifting through Oak Tree Bend. They didn't make the corner. They made it. Well, they made the corner backwards. Then the entry. Watch this rejoin. Almost gets collected by Kaczynski right there, but Capone.
Oh no, Vieira.
Bids spin as Bruno Vieira, the Brazilian, has had an issue as we're giving Luis Araya a little bit of a workout in the production booth. This is heading up onto the entrance of the roller coaster. One of the hardest braking points on the circuit, or I would say the most difficult braking point. Caught the grass on the entry, and then they take the long route, avoid the tire barriers right there. But you can see how much the grass slopes away from the circuit from there, and it is so easy to just lose it in the grass because you're driving uphill, sideways in the grass, and it's very difficult because all that power in these radicals, and it's very hard.
Yeah, it is. I've said this a few times already this season, how this is a new car, it's a tricky to drive car, and the improvements week on week that all the drivers will be making, I think is going to be absolutely drastic. And this is a baptism of fire for a lot of drivers. This is pretty much as tough as it will get for the whole season. Maybe week one at Road Atlanta, because the car was so fresh, was trickier, but this is a very good rival for it. And I think as the season goes on, we're going to see a much more competitive field. But this man has already nailed it. I can't recall seeing more in the first couple of races this season. I don't think he's ever been in a strength of field broadcasted race on ARTV. As Dibton is off the circuit once again. But Moore has, I mean, he's just had the pace of Fletcher, and I honestly thought Fletcher might be able to gain back some time. But that has not been the case. Moore absolutely solid. He's just not making any mistakes either, and that's possibly the most important thing around this circuit. He's totally comfortable. He did the lap in qualifying, he got the race start, and really nothing bar himself can stop him claiming this race win right now. Vico's off the circuit.
And so it's Lear.
Vico's got away with it though. It was just a little bit of an offer.
Yeah, this is
Lear
what happened to Alexis. Lear's back on, but they did lose a load of time. South Bend. Oh, back end. Oh, they caught it. Ooh, ooh, ooh. That's actually at NASCAR at the start of the track, but man. Incident, and also incident. Mark Fletcher has had an incident, and well, that is added to the queue of replays of everything's happening all in the same lap 12. Chaos and too much mustard for Scott Lear on the entry into turn 1, and Mark Fletcher. Now he was in second place when this happened. He's now sitting in third, so he's going to lose a spot here at Oak Tree Bend. You can see third place in the background, and then, oh, Fletcher, oh, just caught the car from oversteering, and then it snapped the other direction, and it's a slow speed, and here comes Julius Muller, and Muller in the draft of Fletcher. Well, he's got the speed on Fletcher, definitely. He's got that inside line, and he just cruises past Muller up into second place, and that is what's happened on lap 12.
And they are alongside right now as well. I think Fletcher is just
Fletcher is just past him.
So, as they are alongside,
fighting for second place. Ah!
There's Fletcher, there he is. As we rejoin it, these guys have been alongside for a couple of corners. Fletcher is back ahead. Had to work very hard for it, and for the second time this evening, then Fletcher has overtaken Muller. And that one was just as respectful as the first three. They had great racing between these two drivers. He lost 7 seconds because of that mistake, did Fletcher, but he had just about a big enough gap in the first place. And I don't think Muller's going to have any response now. He might be able to stay in the draft, but I don't think a re-overtake is coming anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't believe that re-overtake is coming very time soon. Maybe if Mark Fletcher has a little bit of a twitch right here again, he might be taking just a little bit too much break. heading into this corner to keep that car under wraps right there. But the all-time esports driver, Mark Fletcher, under pressure by Julius Muller after his mistake. And so it's going to be a drag race between these two as they go down that long back straightaway here at Virginia International Raceway. But if I was anybody trying to catch up to Nathan Moore, if I was Nathan Moore, I would not be worried about anybody else on track that's keeping my car clean. You got an 11-second lead to everybody else, so you don't need to be pushing every lap. Well, every lap he's been pushing because it's white flag in the air this time by.
And also, Vika has caught back up to clutch. So that's a little bit against the run of play, really, because on that last lap, Vika actually lost a quarter of a second, but on this lap, he's gained tons. He gained 8/10 through the 4th sector, and there are 6 sectors around this circuit, so it's not a big portion of lap. And so, yeah, really out of nowhere. I mean, fuel isn't an issue for Krolic. We know that because it's a fixed setup series. It's got plenty enough fuel to get to the end of the race. So, yeah, maybe it could well be tyres. As I think that was a bit wide. Was Vico able to get underneath?
Vico
and he was not able to get past, in fact, so Krolic remains in 4th position, but this is close.
Krolic is
and
riding on him, though.
I think struggle with the tyres as Capone's made another mistake. I can only hope that he manages to keep it on as Vico is going one way to the other way. Now he's going to go the long way round through the S's. He has to back out of it, but there's still more chances later on the lap.
He faked going down to the inside and was covered off by Vico, and he took that opportunity to swing it onto the outside right there, selling the dummy. That would have gotten the heart beating crazily if you are Alexis Vico. But Adam Konsinski looking for his 3rd overtake as they go race for that long back straightaway. But the one who's been doing all the work up front, Nathan Moore, is going to be getting on some more victories as Nathan Moore takes the victory here at Virginia International Raceway here for the Radical Racing Challenge. The fight for second. Muller just farther away from Fletcher, and it's going to be Mark Fletcher. 2nd place, Vico. Under pressure, Vico's gone a little bit wide, hit through Pigpen. Here comes Konsinski. Konsinski getting all the way, pushing to the pit lane. It's a drag race. It's elbows out racing here at VIR, but it's going to be Krolic ahead of Vico. Vico, I think, might be a little bit crossed about that defensive move into the pit lane, but hey, elbows out by Krolic to get 4th. Vico in 5th place. Konsinski in 6th. Capone in 7th. Lear in 8th. Horston in 9th place. As, oh my gosh, that was a hectic last quarter.
Let's get a replay of that.
Krolic.
I mean, I want a replay, ideally, of an onboard of Vico because he was, maybe Schumacher Barrichello, Hungary, maybe the best example where he just got crowded out into the wall there. But that was different because that's, you're going like head on into the tire, into some tires, into the pit wall.
Vico was so far pushed into the pit lane, he's actually triggered our pit lane timer.
Yeah, and you don't do that easy at Virginia, so let's get a replay of it then. And it was just a slight mistake, wasn't it? Too much pace carried by Krolic.
That's the mistake right there.
Managed to sort of recover it, and then he was late to pull off that one, and then just squeezes through. And well, I'm surprised he didn't make contact after that, actually, and Vico just needed a few more meters, and he would have been able to get past.
Now, if this was the league, that would be protested definitely, but that was very clean by both of the drivers. Krolic just gave the line, said, you're going down to the inside. They didn't leave a lot of room onto the inside for Vico, so if Vico was hunting SR, they would be kind of crossed about that one because that's a 1x for tapping that grass. But man, what a finish for 4th place between these two.
That was absolutely mega, that battle, and then the Fletcher Muller battle. I think the highlights of the race as we see the race results. 12.2 seconds the gap. Fletcher was not far clear of Muller. Muller was able to stay close, but wasn't able to quite pull off that re-overtake. Krolic just ahead of Vico. Then it was Kaczynski, Capone, Leah after a poor start. Horston and Vashore ran out the top 10. Then it was Vieira, Pajesi, Bootland, Dibden, and Dixon. And I will give a shout out to Apex Racing Academy, another sponsor for this series, offering 29 data packs. And those data packs including setups and track guides and group coaching sessions, all that stuff to make you go faster on iRacing. Do check out apexracingac.com to get a subscription level that suits yourself, whether that's a bronze, silver, or gold membership. We are going to have some interviews now, and the man who I want to have a chat with straight away is Mr. Mark Fletcher, who joins us in the commentary box now. Mark, it was a very happy surprise to see you in the server when I loaded it up. What brought you to the Radical this eve?
Well, Tom normally does it, but Tom doesn't know VIR. I used to do a lot of running around here in like GT cars and stuff, so I thought, you know what, let's have a go. And apparently the one thing that I'm not very good at is the start.
No. Talk us through that start. Too much wheel spin, too low revs, what was it?
I'm not really sure. I tried to just like feather the throttle on, but obviously by the time that I got to full throttle, everybody else had just dispatched me, and I was headed down the field pretty quick.
Yeah, and you pulled off some very good overtakes to come back on that one. Particularly the second one on Julius, we saw the sort of the back end of it, but outside the turn one, it seemed like very respectable because I mean this is a narrow circuit. Julius could have easily just shoved you out there, but it seemed good fair racing.
Yeah, definitely. It's all the officials can be a bit hit and miss sometimes, but yeah, it was around the outside because if you're on the outside there, you got the inside for the next two at least. But yeah, they're good fun cars to drive. I quite like them.
I mean, the big question is though, is it better than the SR8s? Because this people have some strong opinions on this. Most of the judges who we've had a chat with in the interview room actually have said that they prefer this one. But I mean, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's a really nice car to drive. You've really got to manage the tires. It teaches you to be really smooth on the throttle. But yeah, it's proper nice to drive. I really like it.
That is good to hear. Yeah, it is. Getting some fans as this car. Do you think it's similar to like a GT car? Do you think when you step into this car compared to maybe if you ever dabbled with the SR8, you feel like you can get up to speed more quickly than because you've done so much GT3 racing, or do you think it's still just as tricky to get up to speed?
I think it's definitely a car that you have to put a lot of time into. You could see Nathan, he got off the line, and by the time that I got past into second, he was absolutely gone. There was no way I was catching him. But yeah, it's definitely a car that you need to give a lot of respect to. It's one of those, a bit like the original Porsche Cup car. It's definitely got its fine little art to drive in it.
That's a very good comparison, I think. I was a big fan of the old Porsche Cup. Certainly like any cars which are quite Larry in that sense. Can we expect to see you back in the future races? Do you think you might be able to make some more of these strength of field events?
Yeah, I'm gonna see what I can do. I'm away racing obviously most weekends or busy doing something. But yeah, either that or me and Mr. Dads will be about obviously causing carnage somewhere.
Excellent. And of course, on Tuesday, you and Mr. Dadswell are going to be back out on circuit in the Aerial GT3 trophy. You feeling confident about that?
Yeah, we've started testing already. To be fair, it's not a track that we really know, but yeah, really looking forward to that. Yet another good series that you guys are putting on. So yeah, let's hope for some good results there as well.
Moss Sports for that one. That's going to be chaos.
Close.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but the formation lap, you're going to be like joining to the back of the field, aren't you? So that will be yeah. Watch that. You do not want to miss that. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, and thanks for racing tonight, Marcus. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, just quickly, all my guys at Altitude, and then the sponsors. Finding Speed, Sim Stickers, Aces Tech, and Sim Racing Studio. Done. Yeah.
Well done.
Thanks, mate.
I can hear the paycheck being ordered right now.
I wish it was.
Well, yeah, thanks for joining us, and yeah, best of luck on Tuesday.
Perfect. Cheers. I'll speak to you soon.
Mark Fletcher there for Altitude Esports. Second place tonight, despite that poor start and despite a spin midway through the event. Austin, I did not ask about the next round of the championship, but the next round of the championship is Sebring. I'm not sure how much racing you've done actually in these cars, Austin, but I mean, from what you know about them, do you think these cars will be able to manage the bumps around that circuit, or do you think it will be a struggle?
I believe these cars are going to be pretty okay around Sebring. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be very entertaining to see. And it's going to be a very popular race because a lot of drivers own Sebring, and they might want to try out the car that on a track that they really know. And Sebring's one of the most racetracks here on iRacing. And with these cars, I feel like it's going to be a very good combination for us, especially at Sebring. So I'm excited for next week.
And we were talking earlier on about the lights. At Sebring, it's going to be a night race, so I assume they do have night lighting.
They
and
do.
So, yeah, so they have those kind of endurance add-ons from real life. So hopefully we'll be able to see where we're going. I feel like Sebring's driven a lot at night. It's like become a popular night circuit. But
It's very famous for its night racing, and I'm gonna be honest, I think it's more fun to race at Sebring at night because of all the reflectors on the ground, and it's kind of it's kind of an entertaining route. With the day racing there, like you got the scenery and all that stuff, but night racing just brings something out. You can just really race for it, and you can just maximize all the track and just keep it. With the tires, how aggressively they fade off in this car, you're going to be seeing a lot of drivers be pushing for all the laps at Sebring.
yes, I think that's yeah, certainly going to be something to think about. As Mark was saying, you got to think about the tires in this series with the length of the races and the tire degradation. And I've said it before. I'm sure I'll say it next time. Sebring is tricky all the time. So at night, I'm glad I'll be commentating and not driving that one, because that sounds difficult. Same length race as always. No extra, no pit stops or anything. And yeah, that will be next time out on the channel. No one else is coming to join us, so anyone who's watching back on this, and I'm sure you got to this point because you love our voices, do join us for an interview, even if you don't win, even if you don't finish second place. If you finish last, even if you only complete one lap, as long as you're in the top split, come join us. There's a link into our ARTV Discord in the description below. You click on that, you sit in the interview waiting area after the race, and then you can have a talk with us. So we would very much appreciate that, because it's good to get to know the drivers and get to know this Radical SR10 whilst it's still new on the service. So hopefully we have a few more interviews for the remainder of the season. Of course, we are broadcasting every one of the Strength of Field races in the Radical Racing Challenge across this season. But that pretty much rounds us off then for this evening of racing. Me and Austin have had a very long day, and Luisa as well. Luisa had a much trickier time a bit earlier on because he was actually driving and used talent. So once again, congratulations to himself, and do watch back that Apex Racing League Prototypes Championship event at Mosport. But on Apex Racing TV over the next few days, we have more races coming up. We've got the Formula 4s tomorrow. That's the elimination heat racing format as well, used for that. That should be good fun. And then the 3.5s just after that. We've got the Spec Racer Fords and the Formula 3s on Sunday evening. We've also got Apex Racing League GT3 Trophy from Mosport on Tuesday. I think we've got Big Mo Tech as well on the Monday night.
Actually, no, not on Monday. We are taking a week off because 4th of July here in America.
Oh, well, everyone who is celebrating 4th of July, have a good one on that one. But basically, subscribe to Apex Racing TV and you can see all of our broadcasts. Also, click the bell notification button so you can see whenever we go live. And follow our social media channels as well on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. But for now, from myself, Sam Fitzpatrick, from Austin Knight, and from Luis Araya, we are going to bid goodbye, and we will see you back in 1 week's time at Sebring at night. See you then.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers, including Peter Berryman, John Robertson, Brandon Trano, and IndyCar World Champion Alex Palou. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.